You check your phone again. Nobody texted back. You scroll anyway. It feels small, almost embarrassing, this tiny ache in your chest. But the real answer to why it hurts is far stranger than you think. Your brain is not built for the world you live in. It was built for something much older, something with fewer people, smaller groups, and a single rule that decided whether you lived or died. Stay close. Stay seen. Stay together. For most of human history, being alone did not just feel bad. It was a death sentence. Around 300,000 years ago, your ancestors lived in small bands, rarely more than 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar studied this number for decades. He found that 150 is roughly the limit of stable relationships a human brain can track. Not a coincidence, a boundary drawn by survival itself. Outside that circle was danger, predators, rival groups, starvation with no one to share a hunt. A lone human on the savannah was not independent. A lone human was prey. So evolution did something clever. It made isolation hurt. Not metaphorically. Literally. The same brain regions that process physical pain also process social rejection. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger demonstrated this in a now famous study using a simple computer ball-tossing game. When participants were excluded from the game, their brains lit up in the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the exact region activated when you stub your toe or burn your hand. Read that again. Being left out activates the same circuitry as physical injury. Your brain never learned the difference between a broken bone and a broken connection. To your nervous system, loneliness is not sadness. It is an alarm. Think about that the next time a message goes unanswered and your stomach tightens. That is not weakness. That is 200,000 years of evolutionary wiring screaming the same warning your ancestors heard when the fire went out and the group moved on without them. But here is the twist almost nobody talks about. Loneliness was never supposed to be permanent. It was supposed to be a signal, a push, a sharp discomfort designed to send you running back toward people. Like hunger sends you toward food. Like thirst sends you toward water. The problem is the modern world found a way to silence the signal without solving the cause. You can scroll through hundreds of faces a day and still feel completely unseen. You can be in a crowded room and feel as isolated as someone stranded on a cliff face 200,000 years ago. Your ancient alarm system was built for tribes of dozens, not feeds of millions. It cannot tell the difference between a meaningful bond and a passive glance at a stranger's photo. So the alarm keeps ringing, quietly, constantly, and you adapt to it instead of answering it. This is where the science gets darker. In 2015, researcher Julianne Holt-Lunstad conducted a massive meta-analysis covering over 300,000 participants. She wanted to know how much chronic loneliness actually shortens a human life. The results stunned even her colleagues. Holt-Lunstad found that prolonged social isolation carries a mortality risk comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It outweighed obesity. It outweighed physical inactivity. Let that settle for a moment. Disconnection is not just an emotional inconvenience. Your body treats it as a slow, ongoing threat to survival, the same way it once treated true physical danger. Why would evolution build something this extreme? Because for nearly the entire span of human existence, isolation actually was lethal. There was no version of, "I'll be fine on my own," on the open plains of prehistoric Africa. A solitary human had no one to watch for the lion stalking through the grass, no one to share the kill when the hunt succeeded, no one to carry water when illness struck. The tribe was not a comfort. The tribe was the only thing standing between you and extinction. So your body still reacts as if a missed call or an empty group chat is a question of life and death. Because for most of your species' history, it actually was. Here is something most people never notice. Loneliness is contagious. Psychologist John Cacioppo, often called the founding researcher of the modern science of loneliness, tracked thousands of people over years using data drawn from a long-running heart study. He discovered that loneliness spreads socially, almost like an infection moving along the connections between people. If a friend of yours becomes isolated, your own risk of loneliness rises. If a friend of that friend becomes isolated, your risk rises again, fainter but still measurable. Think about what that means. Disconnection is not just personal. It moves through groups the way a current moves through water, pulling people apart even when they never realize what is happening to them. Cacioppo's research also revealed something counterintuitive. Loneliness is not really about how many people surround you. It is about whether you feel like you belong among them. A person can have hundreds of acquaintances and still register as alone at a biological level. Meanwhile, someone with 2 or 3 deep connections can feel completely secure. Quality, not quantity. Your ancient brain was never counting numbers. It was scanning for safety. So what does this mean for you, scrolling through a feed of hundreds of people you barely know? It means the discomfort you feel is not irrational. It is your 200,000-year-old alarm system doing exactly what it was built to do, just in an environment it was never designed for. The notifications, the likes, the endless stream of faces, none of it carries the chemical signal of true belonging. Your brain knows the difference even when you try to convince it otherwise. This is the modern mirror of an ancient truth. The tribe kept you alive. Now the tribe is gone, replaced by something that looks like connection, but rarely satisfies the actual hunger underneath it. So what helps? Researchers studying loneliness consistently point to the same surprisingly simple answer. Real, face-to-face, sustained contact with even a small number of people, not dozens of shallow interactions, a few deep ones, eye contact, shared meals, repeated presence over time, the same conditions your ancestors lived inside for almost the entire history of your species. There is no app that replicates the feeling of someone noticing you walked into a room. There is no notification that replaces a hand on your shoulder when something goes wrong. Your nervous system was shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of physical closeness, and it still keeps the receipts. Maybe that is the real lesson hiding inside all of this. The ache you feel when you are overlooked is not a flaw in your design. It is the oldest, most reliable signal your body owns. It has guided humans back to each other since before language existed, since before fire, since before anything you would recognize as civilization. So tonight, when you check your phone again and nothing comes back, remember what that small tightening in your chest actually is. Not weakness, not oversensitivity. A warning system built across 200,000 years, still working exactly as intended, still trying to send you home. And maybe the most dangerous thing you can feel was never the loneliness itself. Maybe it was learning to ignore what it was trying to tell you.